Tesla and Porsche fight. AI, ID, what does it all mean? That and a lot more after this. G'day, my name is Chris and this is your show about everything happening in the space of technology, around renewables, EVs and more in Australia and sometimes around the world. This show is made possible by my wonderful Patreon supporters who, from as little as like a coffee per month, get exclusive behind the scenes content, early access, polls and more. And today I've got like 2 prizes to give away, so hang around for that. But first, in a moment when I cut to the first story, you'll notice that the room is set up a little differently because, well, I shot the first few stories over a week ago. But due to time constraints and other confounding factors, I was unable to get that video out in, well, a timely fashion. The Frankfurt Motor show has come and, well, it's still going, I think. A lot of interesting EVs are being shown, both as actual models coming, concept cars, and a whole lot of other crazy stuff. I've seen several videos and I found a really good one that was actually put together by the CarWow guys. You know, they're a UK website and they have a very good online presence on YouTube. And their video, although long and covers also internal combustion engine cars, it's actually got a lot of good information there about, well, EVs that will come in the next few years. So go check that out. And also I think I found another video by, get this, Top Gear. Yeah, Top Gear. And that was just purely on EVs. So again, if you want to go look at any of these cars I'm about to talk about today, do check out those links because, well, they're good videos. First up, Audi's AI range of future electric cars. Now, AI, artificial intelligence. What they're going for here is that they're basically going to be giving you, the driver, in some near future, who knows when, the ability to do level 4 autonomous driving, which is kind of going to take the fun out of the trail version I'll show you very soon. But nonetheless, they had 4 different variants at the show. And that was the AI Con, the AI Me, the AI Race, and, well, this one, which I think is the most exciting to look at, the AI Trail. This car has 324 kilowatts of power, more than 1,000 Newton meters of torque, and is able to handle both on-road and off-road big time. I mean, check out those massive 22-inch wheels. This thing has more than 19 inches of clearance and can actually be semi-submerged in water. Yes, water. An electric vehicle is not a good idea normally, but I imagine Audi's got some sort of clever trickery going on here. Nonetheless, these cars, although, will they really come to production, who knows? But like I said in my last episode, car makers do these type of things to, one, I think, encourage not only themselves and point in the direction they're going, but to get other car makers to go with them. Volkswagen's finally taken the wraps off the ID3, and I gotta say, this thing is definitely their spiritual successor to the Golf. I mean, look at the wheels. They're on the absolute corners of this car, much like the Golf. Has a very similar body line to it, and, well, impressions so far is that it's a great car. Yeah. All right, let's run the numbers, shall we? Initially, the ID3 is only going to be offered in a mid-range spec, and that's going to be a 58 kilowatt hour battery pack linked to a 150 kilowatt motor. Now, in terms of range, there's going to be like a 45 and a 77 kilowatt hour battery pack, capable of going from like 330 kilometers all the way up to 550 kilometers, which is definitely something we really need in Australia. The date for us is going to be somewhere around 2022. Sadness. Porsche Taycan came out early this month and, well, it's coming at you in 2 different flavors. You have the Turbo S and the turbo. And those naming conventions haven't been lost on consumers, particularly Elon Musk, who tweeted this. The Turbo S has 560 kilowatts of power and can get to 100 k's in around 2.8 seconds, and has a top speed of 260 kilometers per hour. The Turbo is no slowpoke either, and a 0 to 100 time of 3.2 seconds. Both cars consume 26 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, so they're quite thirsty. Australian pricing is yet to be announced, but estimates put them around, well, the Turbo at $300,000 and the Turbo S at $350,000. Crikey! Do it! Just do it! A lot of commentators out there have noted that the Taycan versus the Tesla Model S is kind of like a no-brainer. The Model S outperforms it in 0 to 100 times as well as price. But remember, there are a multitude of cars from very cheap to very expensive, and people will buy what they like to buy. So let's try not to get into this media-driven divide that does nothing to progress our move to cleaner and greener forms of transport. On this channel, I support all comers of EVs to the market. In fact, let's do the right thing here and show solidarity. After all, there are some out there who do not believe that EVs are our future. But check out what the UK government is doing to address this. An electric car is a car. Sounds like semantics, but in order for something to become mainstream, importantly, accepted, we need to remove the jargon that baffles or confuses. Terms like EV or BEV, they aren't like anything that's familiar to people, most people. So let's just call a spade, or in this case, a car. Tesla gets it. Rivian gets it. Volkswagen gets it. Names like the ID3, Model 3, R1T. You know, these are things that the car names that, well, people can identify with. As soon as you put the word EV in there, people they go. Before I get into the Tesla Porsche fight, those who have seen my previous episodes know that I've struggled with the word Taycan. But in my defense, it turns out I'm not the only one. So you know what Porsche did? They went to the trouble of producing a video to help consumers and commentators on how to pronounce it. Let's take a look.
Taycan. Taycan.
Getting back to that Elon Musk tweet, there is now a race to see who can go the fastest around the Nuremberg ring. A little bit of history. A pre-production Taycan did a lap of the Nuremberg ring in 7 minutes and 42 seconds. Enter Elon in Tesla's corner with the next generation Model S that has not 2 motors but 3. Called Plaid because the only thing beyond ludicrous is Plaid. That's like a reference to the ludicrous mode in performance Teslas. They'll be releasing a new lineup in 2020 for the Model S and X, but not the 3. Oh, and yes, Tesla beat Porsche's Taycan time by a full 22 seconds. Yes, in a 4-door saloon with 7 seats. And for those who are into the nitty-gritty, know that this time is not an official one, okay? The Nuremberg ring doesn't allow timing of laps during testing sessions, okay? In other words, it wasn't a racing-specific session. There has been recent rumblings around solar PV farms taking the place of produce growers. But in a recent study showing the synergistic effects of combining the two, solar panels run cooler, plants use less water, and, well, generally soak up more CO2. A study conducted by the University of Arizona set up 3 plots for the summer months. One only solar panels, one with only crops, and one with both. The solar panels were built a little over 3 meters high off the ground, which is higher than a typical solar array. And all 3 plots were irrigated the same, and temperature, humidity, and soil moisture tracked. What do you suppose the results were? But before I answer, put your comment down below and let's see if you're right. Ready? First up, in the combined plot, CO2 uptake was 33% higher, but water use efficiency of the plants didn't change. So they also used more soil moisture as they grew. The mass of peppers they produced, however, tripled. Seriously, tripled, like 3 times, 300%. Think of that. That's pretty crazy, right? The jalapenos, on the other hand, it took up 11% less CO2 under the panels, showing that they missed the extra sunlight. Even so, the water efficiency increased in a big way. They used 65% less water. The amount of peppers produced slightly, but not beyond some error bars, like some statistic controls. Finally, the cherry tomatoes saw a 65% increase in CO2 uptake. And look, based on the temperature efficiency curves of 3 solar panels, the researchers calculated that the cooler temperatures should increase electricity generation by about 3% in summer months, averaging to about 1% gain for the whole year. Now, isn't it amazing when agriculture and renewable technology meet? You may recall a few weeks ago, I gave away a Teetotal voucher worth $35 to Dave O'Neill, that lucky winner. But you know what? He wants you to be also a lucky viewer, and he's giving you the chance, well, kind of me the chance, but no, you, Dave, you're awesome, mate. Thanks very much for this. He's giving you the chance to pick up on that voucher. So, later this week, I'll be posting a Nissan Leaf 2 impressions video. I did another road trip. And when it drops, if you're the first person in the comments to write down first, or maybe no, if you're the first person to write down Teetotal, yeah, okay. So when the video drops, in the comments, write Teetotal. If you're the first person who does that, I'm gonna give you that $35 voucher. Good luck. A multi-million-dollar class action case has been settled by Volkswagen, resulting in the payout of a minimum $127 million to around 100,000 Australian motorists. The settlement comes after the now infamous Dieselgate 2015, where VW cheated on emission tests, to meet the emission standard requirements. Now, for those who may not have heard, what they did is they manipulated engine management software to run lean and clean when it detected it was under emission testing conditions. In doing so, the vehicle's performance gave low emission output numbers and enabled VW to pass stringent EU requirements. In Australia, there are currently 2 open class action lawsuits underway, and a federal court has asked VW to explain what exactly the software did and why it was installed. #awkward. Volkswagen Group has tentatively settled one of these lawsuits, merely requiring approval by a federal court of Australia, which could see owners receive about $1,400 each. To qualify, your vehicle will need to be from the EA189 family. Specifically, it affects a 1.6 litre and the 2 litre 4-cylinder TDI diesel engines, manufactured between 2008 and 2015, and includes the Jetta, Beetle, Passat, Golf, Volkswagen, Skoda, and Audi. And in order to claim the compensation, you'll need to have owned one of these affected models, and have owned it rather, as of the date of the September 18, 2015. Okay, next up, question and answer time. This is a new segment I'm going to be throwing in here, and well, if you put your comments down below, I'll answer them here and now. First up, Reg A53 OKG asks, enjoy your video. Thanks very much, appreciate that. I don't recall you mentioning the wind conditions on the day. This is the video about the Nissan Leaf 2 and whether or not you could rapid charge it. And he asked, what were the wind conditions like? Well, going up north to Aurora, they were quite windy, blustery, and well, it doesn't help any car with its economy when you're in those sort of conditions. But conversely, on the way back to Melbourne, it was quite calm and settled, and it was quite a nice drive going home. Ricardo Marx writes, very cool, I really like your videos, Chris. A big hug from Brazil. Yay, go Brazil. Thanks very much, Ricardo, appreciate that. All right, Chad Stacy, and apologies if I just butchered your name, wrote about what's in my camera bag from 2019 and asked, do you color grade your upload? And what computer, Mac or Windows do you use, and what editing software do you use? Okay, so if I have to color grade, it's actually in Final Cut Pro, so that tells you a few things. It's a MacBook Pro, Final Cut Pro for the video editing, and I am no expert at color grading whatsoever. To get this look here and now, it took a lot of experimentation and multiple uploads to YouTube with different camera settings, light settings, you name it. And well, I'll be soon doing a new video on that because, well, I've got a new teleprompter coming. Hey. That's kind of the sadness I alluded to at the start of the story, start of the show. And also new LED lights, which is making this room a lot cooler to work in. Thank you. Thank you. Patreons, thank you. NVP writes, I'm a BMW fan and i3 owner, and I must say, BMW will fail if they can't compete against Tesla or Porsche. And now they focus on hybrid. WTF? Toyota did it 15 years ago. The latest news that I saw that BMW is doing, yes, they're doing a mixture of, and I think they're now some crazy number, like I think it was 80 different models, 70 different models coming out, and some electric, some hybrid. And it's kind of like, is a future in any way, shape or form hybrid? I do not believe so. The future is this, is that if we get our power from renewable clean sources, the fossil fuel industry, oil, petrol, all them will very quickly go by the way of the dinosaurs, pun intended. And I don't know, I think legacy car makers, sure, they can fail. We no longer make cars in Australia, and people like Ford and Holden, what's the equivalent in Europe, like Opel and Mustang and things like that. They used to be made here, but they no longer are because, well, the economics didn't make sense. And I think that as consumers, if you see a car out there that ticks most of your boxes, and importantly, and this is the thing that makes most people's decision, is the right price, then people will change. And a lot of people I know have gone from expensive European brands to Tesla. Okay, obviously in Australia right now, Tesla and those European brands are very expensive, very premium, and these people can afford to do that. And that's kind of not what I'm trying to get to here, but it is an important point that the customer base, the ones who have supported them for so long, will move over to whoever is providing the most compelling product at the time. And if BMW focuses on hybrid cars, yeah, I think that these buyers out there, they were like, why would I want to fill up at $1.70 per litre to get this car going somewhere, whereas I could actually get electricity from my solar PV or from my battery, or maybe through a deal with an electrical retailer. In fact, actually, with thanks to Ashley Hill, who's one of my awesome Patreon supporters, he shared this link with me about an electricity retailers who provide off-peak, very, very cheap electricity rates. So if you have an electric vehicle and you want to plug in and recharge on the cheapest energy you can overnight, go check this out. And no, this is not an ad. And MVP, thanks for that comment. I got to agree with you. Yeah. Time for some bites. Fire trucks go electric? Yes, that's the promise of Austrian vehicle supplier Renewable. I'm mispronouncing that, so apologies. And they're going to provide Canberra with a fully electric drive unit and sadly a diesel range extender that will be capable of carrying an identical inventory of the current ACT fire and rescue fleet. Now, each of these units actually costs around $1 million, and they're going to be built to actually, carry the same sort of equipment that they normally would carry to any fire. And get this, they usually replace them every 10 years or 200,000 kilometers. And by transitioning to electric, the Canberra Fire Service will save about 185,000 litres of diesel fuel and more than 400 litres of oil. And based on today's diesel prices in Melbourne, that would equate to about $300,000. Chargefox and BMW have entered a deal that will see Beamer electric drivers receive a number of free charging sessions. The Chargefox charging network stretches all the way from Adelaide to Cairns and is growing all the time. And this deal is like a 3-year subscription thing with like complimentary 250 kilowatt hours per year worth of free charging. Mazda will debut its first electric car at the Tokyo Motor Show next month. The unnamed Mazda EV will reportedly come as both a pure electric as well as a range extending internal combustion engine version. Why? Details aren't available just yet, but Mazda did confirm that the new model, it'll be like an absolutely new model and not based on any of the current platforms. You can get it from the sun, you can get it from the wind. As a matter of fact, I've got it right now. Yes, VBV is going 100% renewable by 2020. This deal that has been struck by Asahi, who actually own Carlton and United Breweries, is going to be producing its famous brand VB beer, which in Australia, that little intro I just did is kind of the colloquial thing that people used to do, and you can mix it up, and the expression was kind of like, as a matter of fact, you can have it right now. Anyway, they've inked a 12-year deal to buy power from a 112 megawatt wind farm or solar farm, and the other 10% they're going to be putting solar PV on the roof of the factory, the brewery. And well, Carlton United Brewery, if you want me to come over and have a drink with you, for me to cover this story, I'll be more than happy to. What's this? You what? German automaker Daimler has revealed that it will be stopping internal combustion engine development as part of its move to electric vehicles. Yay! But hold your excitement, peeps. Engines remain in production for many, many years. You see, all that R&D and all that money that's spent on developing an engine means that they actually will keep it going and putting it into cars for 20 to 30 years. So you're holding Monaro, you're holding Commodore, there's a few others. The engine that went into those cars, the tech was as old as 30 years of age. I kid you not. All right, that will do it for today. Again, if you enjoyed the video, give it a big thumbs up. If you like what you see, you want to see more of it, consider subscribing, it's free. And hey, if you can, do me a favor, join me over there on Patreon for as little as $2 American per month. And I'm really sorry it has to be in American dollars, but that's the way Patreon works. That's still less than a cost of a coffee per month. And by joining Patreon, you not only support this channel and help with the purchase of this equipment that I guess you really can't see, but it's there. You get behind the scenes stuff, you get early access to content, polls, and well, hopefully a growing community where people like myself, probably like you, can actually join and share the conversation and get things going. I'm really encouraged by this last weekend with the worldwide protests or, call to action to our politicians about our climate emergency. And, unfortunately I had to work because, well, I'm new to my job and I just can't say, hey, see you later, I'm going to go protest. I do this, I spend hours every week doing this, and the way in which I'm hoping to promote and share this content is through positive news stories like you've seen today. And if this is something that you would like to help with and contribute to, I really would appreciate it if you go check me out on Patreon. But I diverge. If you do nothing, be good, be green.